Many countries are now unsafe with the security to live according to the open conflicts and the political regime happening in them. And before you choose a place to visit, ensure to check this list to know the current situation of the country you're traveling to. In this video, we show you the 10 most dangerous countries in the world that you should know. But first, please like and subscribe to this channel, and then sit back and relax. 1. Turkey. GPI score 2.959. Turkey remains the most dangerous country in Europe. It also had a significant deterioration in the GPI last 2 years. The country fell further in the GPI world ranking to number 150, between Venezuela, number 149, and North Korea, number 151. The refugee crisis in Europe continued through 2019 and 2020, leading to increased tensions with Greek as the Turkish authorities refused to detain the refugees. In addition, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan continues to suppress the domestic politics of dissent, leading to worsening political instability and an increase in political terror. Turkey also saw an 8.3% increase in the incarceration rate, from 318 prisoners per 100,000 population to 344. The number of Dutch tourists traveling to Turkey has dropped dramatically in recent years. The decline started mainly after the series of bombings in 2016 and 2017, which resulted in many deaths. The political instability and the warmongering of the current president do not help. The end of Turkey's problems seems distant. 2. Kosovo. GPI score 2.07. Kosovo never fully recovered from Yugoslavia's dissolution. The economy of the nation is in disarray, and animosity towards Serbia, a neighbor, is still pervasive. Armed confrontations still take place often, and the war left behind a lot of mines and weaponry in the nation. The most dangerous aspect of Kosovo, and the reason why tourists are skeptical about visiting this province, is the risk of terrorism. That is, it is very likely that terrorists will try to carry out attacks in Kosovo. Apart from the wars and long fighting over this territory with Serbia, which has just ended, there is a threat of increasingly strong violent Islamic extremism in Kosovo. Like in any other country, there are also scams in Kosovo. Always negotiate everything in advance, double-check your change, and never pay anything in advance. Never accept drinks from strangers or leave your drink unattended. 3. Bosnia and Herzegovina. GPI score 2.04. Like Kosovo, Bosnia and Herzegovina is experiencing economic difficulties. Many people fled during and after the war in search of a better life. Unemployment is high, which can be seen in the many ghost towns in the country. There is plenty of petty crime in the country, and while there are good parts to it as well, oddly enough, especially in the bigger cities, travel advice is still generally negative. Also, simply taking a walk in Bosnian nature is still a risk. There are still countless areas full of landmines that have not been cleared. As a tourist, that's not pleasant, to say the least. 4. Montenegro. GPI score 1.944. Right from time, Montenegro has been a safe place to visit, but in recent years, it has seen riots, armed attacks, and political turmoil. Despite the unsettling nature of the nation's connections to Russia, Montenegro has seen an uptick in travelers in recent years. Tourists can't help but be drawn in by the stunning beaches and inexpensive accommodations. Fortunately, the coastal regions, particularly the city of Kotor, are typically safe. However, as tourists, you take more risks in the nation than you probably should. In that way, it truly is a country with two faces. 5. France. GPI score 1.93. Are you surprised that France is here? We don't. France has had a hard time in recent years. There is a lot of inequality between ethnic groups. There is a lot of violent crime, and the country has suffered several attacks in recent years. France falls further down the list and is one of the most unsafe countries in Europe. Huge and prolonged yellow vest protests brought politicians to their knees, and eventually, the military had to step in to restore peace. France is also falling more this year and is currently ranked 66th in the world and 31st out of 36 in the European ranking of safest countries, so it's not good. Fortunately, the only positive thing we can say about this is that the south and west of France haven't noticed much of this disturbance so far. Those who stay away from big cities will hardly notice it. Hundreds of thousands of Dutch people still go on holiday to France every year. 6. Cyprus. GPI score 1.92. Cyprus has had difficulties in recent years. It bears the brunt of the ongoing unrest between Turkey and Greece, both of which lay claim to the entire island. Add to that a huge stream of refugees preparing the island with boats, and the recipe for trouble is complete. With only 1.2 million inhabitants, it is simply not financially or logistically capable of accommodating the large influx of refugees. As a result, the island has been plagued in recent years by petty crimes committed, among other things, by refugees trying to make a living. Tourists who stay in luxury resorts usually enjoy a pleasant vacation, but outside the resorts, the problems are quickly felt and visible. 7. North Macedonia. GPI score 1.9. North Macedonia has safe parts and does everything possible to protect tourism in the country as well as possible. Still, there are many unusual problems in the country. There has been minor to medium violent crime between Macedonians and Albanians for years, and the border areas are particularly high risk. Although it has scored better in recent years, North Macedonia is ranked 62nd in the world this year and 30th in Europe this year. 8. Greece. GPI score 1.877. In recent years, Greece has been recovering from a severe economic crisis that seemed to have no end. Unemployment in the country is through the roof, which does not benefit petty crime, theft, and mugging. This remains a persistent problem, especially in large cities, and extra caution is required for a tourist. The many large anti-government protests, especially after the economic crisis, often turn into violence. However, despite the protracted conflict with Turkey, Greece is slowly returning to calm. In the last 3 years, the number of large protests has decreased by 50%. Tourists are returning to the country, and the economy appears to be picking up. 9. Albanian. GPI score 1.872. Albania has also been doing good business in recent years. Despite the unrest in the border areas, Albania has received more and more tourists in recent years, and the population is prospering economically. However, it remains one of the most unsafe countries in Europe, mainly due to petty crime and robbery on the streets. Fortunately, coastal areas generally remain safe for tourists. 10. Serbian. GPI score 1.846. Serbia should no longer be taken as a safe country. According to the latest surveys, Serbia belongs to Europe's green zone for the first time in years. It was close to the fact that the UK had been here. Serbia is generally a poor country and is still visibly affected by the war of the 1990s. Serbia is known for its warm and welcoming nation, and even more so for tourism, so it often happens that the main tourist impression of Serbia is how friendly its people are. Therefore, it is not surprising that this country is considered very safe for any tourist to visit. However, like anywhere else, there are places to avoid, and if you use basic preventative measures, your trip should go smoothly. Although the main concern of visitors is pickpockets, it should be noted that the crime rate in Serbia is high due to the activity of organized crime groups, which are constantly fighting in important areas, and their conflicts often end in violence. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, the subscription button, and the notification bell. To get notified when new videos are uploaded from this channel, please share your thoughts about the 10 most dangerous countries in the world that you should know in the comment section below. Thank you.